At my baby shower, my sister stood up and boldly declared, "I should be the mother, not you. I deserve this baby more." At first, people thought it was a joke and laughed, but then she pulled out a lawyer's card and said, "I'm taking custody." My husband's reaction was swift and shut her down instantly. Never did I imagine I'd need to defend my right to be a mother at my own baby shower, but life has a way of surprising you when you least expect it. To give you some context, my sister, let's call her Claire, had always been the golden child in our family. She was the one who excelled at everything, beauty, brains, you name it, while I was more of the background character, working hard for everything I achieved. Claire thought the world should hand things to her on a silver platter. She had always dreamed of being a mother. She would play house as a kid and fantasize about having a big family, but life didn't go according to her plans. After a young marriage, a quick divorce, and years of trying, she discovered she couldn't have children. It crushed her, and I supported her through it all. I comforted her, listened to her, and stood by her side during her pain, but I never, ever imagined she'd try to take my baby from me. The baby shower from hell. I was 7 months pregnant when my husband and I threw our baby shower. It was supposed to be a day full of joy, gifts, cake, laughter, and family. Claire was there, but she'd been acting strangely for weeks. I thought it was just the hormones and emotions of the situation, but little did I know what was coming. As we were opening presents, Claire stood up, tapped her glass, and made an announcement. "I just want to say something," she began, with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "I know we're all excited about the baby, but I need to share something important." I thought maybe she had some personal news to share, like moving or a new job. What she said next stunned everyone. "I should be the mother, not you. I deserve this baby more." At first, the guests laughed. Who would say such a thing at a baby shower? But Claire kept talking. "I've always wanted to be a mom," she said, as if I was the unreasonable one. "And after all I've been through, I've decided I'm going to do what's best for this baby. I've spoken to a lawyer, and I'm filing for custody." She pulled out a business card, and a chilling silence fell over the room. My husband and I exchanged glances, and everyone stared at Claire like she'd just revealed a dark secret. My mom gasped. My dad rubbed his temples in disbelief. Someone quietly asked, "Is she serious?" She was. "I've already started the process," she continued. "It's not personal, but I can offer a better life for this baby. You both work too much. You don't have the maternal instinct I do. I was born to be a mother. You were just lucky." I couldn't speak, but my husband? He wasn't about to let this slide. His response shut her down completely. My husband is a calm man, never one to get overly emotional, but at that moment, he stood up, locked eyes with Claire, and simply said, "You're out of your mind." He walked over, took the lawyer's card from her hand, and tore it in half. "You think you can just take our baby? A judge is going to look at a stable, loving couple and hand the baby over to the delusional aunt?" He said, "You've lost it." Claire's face went red with rage. "I have every right." "No, you don't," my husband interrupted. "You have no case, no claim, no right. You're not entitled to our child just because you want one." Claire tried to argue, but he wasn't done. "You've just admitted, in front of all these witnesses, that you've been plotting to take someone else's baby. Do you have any idea how crazy that sounds?" Claire's eyes shifted nervously, and the reality of how insane she sounded hit her. People were shaking their heads. My mom was in tears, and my dad looked like he wanted to disappear. Then my husband delivered the final blow. "You should leave, and don't even think about following through with this. We have a lawyer, a very good one. If you dare to bring this lawsuit anywhere near my wife, my child, or our family, we will bury you in legal fees. I'll make sure you lose everything, understand?" Claire's face drained of color. She had no words, no excuses, and no golden child privileges left to protect her. She grabbed her purse and stormed out, slamming the door behind her. The aftermath, of course. The party was ruined, guests left awkwardly, and my parents were apologizing nonstop. My mom cried, devastated by what Claire had done. My dad muttered that he should have seen it coming. As for Claire, she disappeared for weeks. I thought maybe she'd be embarrassed enough to back off, but I was wrong. A month later, a letter arrived from her lawyer. She was suing for custody. The lawsuit that shook our family. I wish I could say Claire realized her mistake and backed down, but that would have been too easy. Instead, she doubled down. A month after the disaster at the baby shower, I received a formal legal notice from her lawyer. She was suing for custody. My hand trembled as I read the papers, and my husband was furious as he scanned them. The lawsuit accused me of being mentally unfit to be a mother, claimed my husband was too aggressive, and that we lived in a stressful environment. It was utterly ridiculous. I had no mental health issues. My husband was the calmest man I knew, and our home was peaceful and loving, but Claire's delusions were in full swing. Claire's web of lies. She wasn't just suing us, she was telling anyone who would listen that I was unfit to be a mother. She told our family, our friends, and even my co-workers that I was neglecting my baby and that I couldn't handle motherhood. "I'm just trying to help," she'd say, feigning tears. "She's not ready for this. The baby will suffer if she keeps going like this." One day, my boss pulled me aside, concerned. "Your sister's been saying some things. Are you okay?" It made me furious. Claire was trying to paint me as a monster before I'd even given birth, but she wasn't finished. The CPS visit one afternoon, there was a knock at the door. It was Child Protective Services. My heart sank. "We've received a report of child endangerment," one of the officers said. "We need to ask you a few questions." I was 7 months pregnant. What could they possibly be talking about? But Claire had reported me, claiming I was already engaging in dangerous behavior that could harm my unborn child. I let them in, and after an hour of questions and a thorough inspection, they left, apologizing for the misunderstanding, but the damage was done. Claire had tried to ruin my reputation, and I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. My husband's counterattack. The anger was consuming me, but my husband was a force to be reckoned with. He had warned Claire that if she took this too far, she would regret it. And now, it was war. Our lawyer wasted no time in filing a counter-lawsuit for defamation and harassment. We also obtained a restraining order against Claire, barring her from coming anywhere near me, my husband, or our home. But that was just the beginning. My husband had a private investigator dig into Claire's life, and what we found was a goldmine: massive credit card debt, unpaid bills, a failed business venture, and a lawyer with a reputation for losing cases. This wasn't just about family anymore, this was about survival. We handed everything to our lawyer, and Claire's world began to crumble. CLA's last desperate move. The legal battle dragged on for weeks. Claire refused to back down, but she was clearly losing. Then, one day, my lawyer called. "She's offering to make a deal." "What kind of deal?" I asked, barely able to breathe. "She wants to drop the case if you let her have visitation rights." I couldn't believe it. Visitation rights? She wants to play the part of a parent? No deal, I said. She gets nothing. But Claire wasn't done. That night, at nearly midnight, I heard a sound from outside. My husband tensed. "Did you hear that?" he asked. I froze. Someone was at the door. My husband grabbed the baseball bat we kept by the door, his protective instincts kicking in. Then, we heard it, Claire's voice. "Please," she sobbed, "just let me in. I need to talk. I just want to see the baby." My heart pounded. The baby wasn't even born yet. This was insane. The night she broke in, Claire wasn't just begging, she was out of control. My husband's jaw was clenched in fury as he held the bat. I was terrified. This wasn't just a sister in pain anymore, it was a woman obsessed. "We're calling the cops," my husband said. I picked up the phone, but before I could dial, the window shattered. Claire had broken into our home. "She really thought she could take my baby," my husband muttered as he rushed toward the noise. I was frozen, but he wasn't. Claire was inside now, her face wild, her voice frantic. "I just want my baby," she screamed, her eyes crazed. I stumbled backward, struggling to breathe. This wasn't real. Then, the police siren screamed outside. "CLA gets arrested." The police burst in, their flashlights cutting through the chaos. Claire was still fighting, still shrieking. "She's mine," she screamed. The officers tackled her to the ground, and the fight was over. They handcuffed her and dragged her toward the door. I could barely breathe. My husband said, "She tried to attack my pregnant wife." "Are you okay, ma'am?" one of the officers asked. I nodded, but I wasn't okay. I was terrified. As they pulled Claire toward the door, she locked eyes with me. "This isn't over," she whispered. And then, they took her away. The plot twist no one saw coming. We thought it was over. It wasn't. The next morning, our lawyer called with news that made my stomach drop. "Claire called your mother from jail." "What?" I asked, stunned. "She says she was set up, that you and your husband tricked her into breaking in so you could have her arrested." I was speechless. "She also claims she has evidence that you and your husband are unfit parents, and your mother believes her." I felt a surge of betrayal. My own mother? An hour later, my mother called. I think you should drop the charges, she said, her voice cold. She broke into my house. She tried to attack me. I snapped. She was emotional, Mom said, brushing it off. She didn't mean to. She just wants my baby. Then, my mother hit me with the unthinkable. I think she'd be a better mother than you. I couldn't process her words. My own mother was siding with Claire. I hung up in disbelief. The secret that changed everything. That night, I cried in my husband's arms. I was devastated. But then, my father called a week later with a revelation that shifted everything. He met me at a coffee shop, looking exhausted. There's something you don't know, he said, about Claire, about why she's doing this. I braced myself. Claire had a baby years ago, he said, before she got married. She was young, she got pregnant, but Mom made her give the baby up for adoption. I was in shock. She never got over it, my father continued. She's been obsessed with getting another chance, and now she thinks your baby is her chance. Everything fell into place. Claire wasn't just jealous, she was desperate to replace the child she lost, but I wouldn't let her destroy my family. We went to war. We weren't done yet. Claire may have been in jail, but we pressed every charge we could. Breaking and entering. Attempted assault. Defamation. Filing a false CPS report. We even extended the restraining order to 10 years. Claire would never come near me, my husband, or our baby again. But my mother was another matter. After backing Claire, she tried to make peace. You didn't have to send your sister to jail, she said. I was done. You picked your side. Stay there. I cut her off. No more calls, no more visits, no more photos of my baby. She had chosen Claire over me, so I chose my family over her. CLA sentencing. Justice is served. 6 months later, Claire faced trial. The judge didn't hold back. You harassed, stalked, and attempted to steal a child that wasn't yours, he said. You fabricated evidence and manipulated your family. You are a danger to society. Claire cried, but it was too late. You will serve 5 years in prison with no parole for 3 years. As my mother sobbed in the back row, my father shook his head. I felt free. A new beginning. A few weeks later, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. My husband held her, tears in his eyes, whispering, "She's safe now." And she was. Claire was behind bars. My mother was out of our lives. My father, the only one who had tried to do the right thing, was a loving grandfather. And me? I looked at my daughter and promised, no one will ever take you from me. And they never did. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Stay stunned.